Now, a lot of us are wondering what is happening to Nairobi's once vibrant, green, leafy suburb. Today's show, we want to look at Nairobi and find out what brought us to this moment and what does the future of Nairobi look like. Kama kawaida, I am your host, Nami Mbuvi, and welcome to the Land and Property Diary. Nairobi is arguably one of the fastest growing cities in Africa, and with this growth comes challenges such as housing infrastructure and provision of shared amenities. Take Kilimani and Kileleshwa for example, where residents and potential homeowners are feeling let down with the endless noise, poor roads, dust and dwindling shared amenities such as water. To help us understand this city and what ails Nairobi, let's talk to Cyrus Bisi, who is an urban planner and has good insights. I want to understand the bylaws that govern the number of laws that we're able to erect, especially in urban cities.
Basically, these our urban areas or our counties need to be planned. That's the first point. And that planning really identifies where and what you're supposed to put up anywhere, any space within the city. For example, this city has different zones, about 20. And each zone has been defined how many floors. For example, here in Kilimani, at least the current zoning regulations or ordinance stipulate 4 floors.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's been there since 2006. So there's a point that it needs to be updated. Without updating it, then there's that demand for housing, that demand for developments that are really informing a lot of what you're seeing around.
Okay.
Yes.
Cyrus, there's updating of the bylaws,
Yes.
but also there's the issue of infrastructure and shared amenities, drainage,
Yes.
water,
Yes.
barabara. Are we going to update a bylaw and then not take care of these other problems that are as a result, of these constructions?
Good point, and I think that's why, as an industry, together with Kenya Alliance of Resident Associations, KARA, and other neighborhood associations, we've been asking city authorities to formulate the mandated plans. Because Nairobi, I think about 10 years ago, 2013, actually formulated its master plan, the so-called new plan, which is Nairobi Integrated Urban Development Master Plan, which had an horizon of 2030. So today and 2030 is hardly 6 years or 5 years. It's about to expire. And within that master plan or that blueprint, it called for planning, detailed planning now of the specific neighborhoods, specific zones. That has not been done. Okay. And you don't implement such a blueprint without really providing or formulating those component parts of that spatial framework. And then based on that, on those detailed plans, then you develop your zoning regulation or your zoning code. And that is the area that needed to update. Now, for areas maybe from 4 floors to maybe more floors, but it needed to be done because that's the framework that invites all stakeholders to contribute input into the city you want to see. That really renders the vision of the entire city, and I think that gap really has come to hurt this city.
It is really a sad affair, I would say. And you're an urban planner. I want to understand, does the county then have forums of engagement where they need experts like yourselves or even residents associations for public participation? Do they create these forums where we're able to give you input as an expert and also then if you're a resident as well? Because I think that is highly needed because already, clearly kuna shida. Your expertise is required.
Yeah, sure. I mean, how you can utilize the expertise of professional planners is basically to engage them to deliver those plans that are missing. That is how you can engage us. You can engage resident associations by actually asking them what's their vision for their neighborhood.
But is that being done? That is the question. Is that being done by the county?
I think the point is there action to show us that they've been talking and something is being done. If you talk to these resident associations, they will tell you they've been asking for those local plans forever, I would imagine. But also, I mean, if you also need to look at it comprehensively, do we prioritize planning? Do we prioritize having neighborhoods that make sense? And making sense, I mean, that have all these services, facilities, infrastructure, playgrounds, and all that.
I like what you're saying. It's about prioritizing. What is a priority for whoever who's concerned, for this planning? In your opinion, what then do you think the problem is?
Basically, because county governments are also governments, they need first to set the budget for planning. And the budget setting is not the role, it's not the function of the governor. Basically, it's actually the member of county assembly. It's the people we elect as MCAs. Are they petitioning the executive through the governor to budget, to set this budget? And I will tell you, there's this joke going around the country that a plan is seen as makaratasi, seen as map.
Yeah. It's a piece of paper.
It's a piece of paper. And our politicians have got into this hobby. They want to cut tape. They want to invest in things that are seen. Someone wants to launch a road project. Someone wants to launch a borehole. But no one wants to launch a map or a plan. Yet, that's the thinking. That's where the thinking of how the city operates, how the city is going to operate.
That is what they need to launch.
The future. That is where the thinking is needed. And that is the first thing any serious government, any serious governor would want to launch as the first activity of the administration once they get into office. Yet, it's not being done.
Serious, even as we conclude, I'm looking at Nairobi even from here, and is it only Mijengo? How do we expect to see Nairobi look like? What's the future of Nairobi if this is the trend so far?
Certainly, I mean, if you project this, then you expect Nairobi to be more dense in terms of more such kind of buildings, high rises. And you expect that the problems that we face of the backlog of infrastructure and all that, I think you expect it to worsen. So if you're getting water 2 times a week, you expect to get it maybe once a week. And these roads then become impassable over time, because now you're adding traffic, you're adding people, and you're not expanding the infrastructure, the road infrastructure, the sewerage, the water supply. Basically everything such populations will need going into the future. So I think I would say that it's becoming an emergency.
It is an emergency. It's a disaster.
It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Okay.
But I think it's not all gloom. I think county government or national government can prioritize upgrading the infrastructure and also delivering on the planning gap that was clearly there, and also resourcing the implementation phase of those plans was formulated.
Now, when it comes now to individuals, what can an individual do? Because everyone is running to live in the city, the big city.
People are proud to live in this city. I mean, you meet people, they say, I'm from Eastlands, I'm from Buruburu, I'm from Umoja, I'm from, those Jericho, such kind of vibe, But over time, I think the community, the sense of community has really been broken. And it's been broken because we are not listening to each other. I mean, the communities, the resident associations are saying, please listen to us. We have a vision about our neighborhoods. And that vision is what actually should inform the city planning and also all these developments you see. You've had a lot of neighbors are exiting.
Yes.
They're seeing a lot of these high-rise buildings and then they're shipping out of the city. Why? They've actually been chased or shipped out by the authorities by not doing what they ought to do.
Super, Cyrus. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you for having me.
Totally appreciate it.
Good day.
Wacha niangalia hapa Nairobi kidogo. Well, Nairobi is a beautiful city, and you've heard from what Cyrus has said. We need to prioritize urban planning for it to be livable. Let me take a short break. I'll be right back.